All right, what's up, everybody? I switched to my phone. What's up, everybody? I switched over to my phone. We'll be running here in a second. Now that I know what the hell I'm doing. All right. So now I've got my screen set up. Everybody here is here. I really apologize for everything. I'm not going to lie, technical difficulties really throw me for a loop. It's just me. Courtney's helping me, but it's not like we're an IT department. So thank you for bearing with me. I'll let people catch up. It'll take a second. Everybody's probably like, the hell with it. We'll talk to them next week. Oh. So all right. So earlier today, I released 2 hours ago, I released the full Monty, let's call it, for WalleyeFest 24. And tonight, not that it's only tonight, but tonight is where we talk about it. I'm excited. I'm excited with every time something's new, there's trepidation. But here's the thing, and here's the thing that I want to stress and that I'll always stress. This is about choices. It's about options. It's about what you want to do. You, my friends, my family, my fishing buddies, my customers. This is what you want and how you want to do it. That's the beauty of this. And this is where this idea has come from. And this is why I'm doing this, because this is going to allow people to create their own derby, so to speak, for themselves, their own experience. And they can customize it to how they want. And that can be for as easy, I don't want to say easy or complicated. Let's start from the very top. Leaderboard number 1 is your main WalleyeFest leaderboard. Okay. Dennis, thanks for sticking with me there. The main leaderboard is like the Derby has always been. Last year it was $25. This year it's $25. It's the same price, and you pay your $25 and you're into the main leaderboard, which is open to everyone. Except youth. Youth have their own division, which we will get to in a minute. And that is for ages, youth is 15 years and younger. And the open leaderboard number 1 is for everybody 16 and older. And that main leaderboard is the catch-all. Everybody enters that first, again, except for youth. Everybody gets in. When you pay your money, you get into the main leaderboard. It's an open tournament. It's an open derby, whatever you want to call it. And it's just like it always was. It's one big walleye, and it's one main leaderboard. That's it. Tons of prizes. That's what we had last year. That will always be, and this year is no different. That'll be our main prize money. We got so much to go through tonight, but I want to get right into it. So, I'm in slow-mo. Come on.
You're not.
Okay. So you fished last year, and that's just what you want to do, is fish the same thing you did last year. Then the main leaderboard number 1 is for you. And everybody that just wants to fish the main leaderboard, you don't have to worry about anything that comes after that, okay? Now we get down to the options. Options, choices. I like choices. I like options. My wife calls me the condiment king because when I sit down to dinner, I don't care what it is. I might have 3 to 7 different condiments on the table because I want to, because I like to, because I like a little something different, tasting or whatever, So these are these options. These are the options that I've spent months working on. And so there's 3 classifications. There's the one walleye division, there's the multiple walleye division, and then there's the non-walleye division, okay? So let's start with, and we'll go right in order. Everybody, let's go to the one walleye division. I feel like I'm a teacher. I hope everybody's with me. It looks like I know we lost some people. I hope everybody comes back in. So you've entered in, you pay your $25. Everybody pays their $25 first, and they get into the main leaderboard, okay? That's for one walleye per person, okay? That's it. That's a one walleye board, all right? Now, the rest of the one walleye division boards are women's, self-explanatory, women's. There is a kayak division. So, yeah, so there's women's is women's. So the ladies enter into the women's division. So now you're entered in 2 leaderboards. So Courtney, my wife, when she enters, she'll pay her $25 ticket. And then she's going to say, I want to fish against just the ladies as well. So let's say Courtney goes out and catches a 26-incher. Last year, the Derby was won with a 24-incher. So let's say she catches a 26-incher. She wins the ladies division, the women's division, and she also places or wins the main board. That's the point here, everybody. So follow me. That's going to be a recurring theme. Having a chance to win different ways, multiple ways. So that's what we've done. Instead of we've expanded to, there's going to be so many more people now, and so many more chances to win. That's the never-ending point that I'm going to keep hammering home. Leaderboard number 3 is the kayak only division. Now, the main leaderboard is an open leaderboard, which means any of the other ones fall into that. Okay, so the kayak only, if the only way you can enter into the kayak only division is if you're only fishing from the kayak throughout the Derby. And that's your only means, because that's going to be important as we get a little farther on here. All right. So now again, I'm Joe Blow, the kayak fisherman. So I paid my $25 because we all do. And then I see that there's a kayak only board and I'm going to be fishing only out of my kayak for the Derby. So now I can enter into that board and I can be part of that individual board, and as well as that one big walleye that I would weigh in for or measure for that kayak board, leaderboard, also goes to my account in the main leaderboard, which I'm already entered into. And again, if I catch a 25-incher and that 25-incher wins or places in the kayak leaderboard that I've qualified for, and it also wins or places in the main leaderboard, now I've just double dipped. And already, if I was a woman who was a kayak fisherman, I'd have a chance to be in 3 leaderboards if I wanted to, if I chose to. I have the option. So do you see how things are starting? You can put that in, you can put that one fish of yours in different places with different groups of people as opposed to just everybody. Okay. Number 4 is charter customer only. Now, we have an amazing amount of high quality charters, guides and charters that are going to be servicing Oneida Lake throughout the year, but specifically during WalleyeFest. And we'll have a lot of customers that the only chance they would be able to get out, whether it was both days with a charter or whether it was one trip, 6 or 8 hours, whatever it may be, that's the only chance they're going to get out. The charter customer board is if you're only fishing with a charter during the Derby. So, okay, so I'm a charter customer. I'm going out with Captain Tony Buffa. I got my charter booked for Saturday morning of WalleyeFest, okay? So we're all entered into the Derby because you all have to be entered into the Derby on the charter boat, okay? Now, if I am only able to fish with Captain Tony Buffa during the Derby, then I'd be eligible to enter the charter customer board, leaderboard. If I was with Captain Tony that morning and then went out the next day or later that same day in my own boat or a friend's boat or caught a fish from shore and then entered that, I can't be in the charter customer only leaderboard. I would only be able to be in the main leaderboard. Unless I was a woman, I could be in the women's division, okay? See how that works? It's only those special leaderboards that's if you're only doing that thing, okay? Number 5 is a separate board for all of the things that are near and dear to my heart. I'm a United States Army veteran, and one of my I don't know, callings, whatever you want to say, like no different than I'm doing this and organizing these tournaments and doing this stuff and bringing, this is what my heart tells me to do, and I'm doing it. My heart tells me to reach out to my brothers and sisters, specifically military veterans, but I want to be inclusive and not exclusive. And so that military veteran first responder category is now opened up. I think we settled on military active or veteran, police, fire, EMS. Now I'll put this out to the group. Are there am I missing anybody? I wasn't sure. I'm not hugely up on that, but now this board is just like the women's. It's a thing you qualify for as opposed to a style of fishing. So that leaderboard is only if you have one of those pre-qualifying factors to get into that separate leaderboard with everybody, and that's military, veteran, or active. I hope to reach out to the great people up at Fort Drum. Before we get carried away, I would love to, in coming years, do something like Bernie Haney used to do with take a vet fishing and have it worked in as part of the Derby, where we could match troops that are up at Fort Drum, guys that are, or I shouldn't say that, guys or girls, but they're troops that are stationed up there that are far from home and don't have stuff or a boat or anything like that, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't want to go fishing. So in years to come, probably next year, we'll have it to where if someone wanted to offer to take somebody, we could set that up and we could get more guys out. I always say guys, sorry, I don't mean that. But so that is what that is for, and that is for any of the, let's call the whole network, first responders, active, current or veteran. And lastly, in the one walleye division is the shore division, okay? Now again, shore, just like kayak and charter customer, means that you're only fishing from shore during the Derby, okay? So if you're entered in the shore division, you're not going out in anything on the lake. You're not going, in your buddy's boat and entering a fish that you've caught during that time. And so that's, and people are going to say, well, how are we going to enforce that? Two things. Okay. Even last year we did lie detectors in the top 3 places. This year, the lie detectors, because we've expanded so much, will be across the board if you win a prize over X amount of dollars. And it'll automatically be, that'll be the first question. When you sign up, you're also signing the waiver when you sign up for the Derby that says you're not going to cheat. The lawyers have the verbiage. I don't know what it says, but it says, I'm telling you I'm not going to cheat. And if I do, that's fraud, and I've committed fraud. And we've all seen in the fishing tournament world now that people cheat. I can't tell you that I have a foolproof, unbeatable way to stop cheaters other than vigilance and taking people at their word and then checking their word with our friend at the lie detector company. So he's going to make a lot of money on us this year because we're going to spend that hour running people through the lie detector test to make sure, and so also there are some verifications that will be asked of you in the intake process when you buy your ticket. And charter customer, it'll give a space where you will have to add and list the charter that you will be with and what days and what times. So, and if you have a legitimate charter booked, you will already know all of that in advance. So, all right. So that takes us to the end of the one walleye division. I want to go and look at comments here real quick and see before I get too far going, if there's anything I need to answer. Okay, I'm going to go all the way to the back, so stick with me. Dennis, how you doing? Kevin Stone, Markel Sims, I hope you got a better connection now. Merlin, Aaron Lussier. My playback speed was wrong. No problem, brother. Is the kayak division limited to just human-powered kayaks, or are the motorized kayaks allowed? That's a great question, Merlin, and I have reached out to a couple kayak organization experts that can answer that question better. Right now, for me, it's all kayaks. I don't know if they distinguish in the kayak derbies tournaments, whether power is a differentiating factor or not. I don't know the answer to that, but I will know the answer to that. Okay. I forget, is the total purse a set purse based on ticket sales, or are sponsors kicking in bucks to fatten the purse for all divisions? Well, Kevin, that's an excellent, that is an excellent question. Just like last year, so the Lions Club always had a set purse, and it was based on 1,000 anglers. If more entered than that, the prize money didn't go up, but it didn't go down. So if there was less than 1,000 people, they reserved the right to lessen the amount they paid out. But it was a set amount based on 1,000 people. So what we did last year was for every 1,000, you double and then triple and then quadruple the amount. So you keep adding that same, value X, X dollars per 1,000, you have X. And then if you have 2,000, it's 2X's and so on. And anywhere in the middle, it's prorated. It's just math. And so the spreadsheet figures all that out. So the reason why we gave out so much money last year was because at 1,400, we had those 400 extra people that were kicking into the pot that they never did before. And also, I just got word last night from JT Rods, my personal sponsor, and WalleyeFest sponsor, that they're kicking in a brand new rod. I have a 7'1" JTX Mag Medium Light for the winner of the main leaderboard. That's an additional prize right there to the grand prize. And I have two amazing 6'6" panhandler ultralight perch rods for the or lightweight perch panfish rods that are going to be first place in the non-walleye division perch board, yellow perch board, and panfish board. So we have sponsors kicking in stuff prize wise to the kitty. Don Terry, anybody remember what the 25th place fish was and the payout for it? Well, I'm asking you shall receive, Don. Yes, the payout was $150, and that was for everybody from 16 to 25th place. It was $150, and I think it was 22 inches, give or take. Kevin Stone, if I'm fishing from a charter and the charter has 4 people fishing from that boat, are fish caught from a charter entered as a charter boat team or as an individual? Individual. Because it's still in the one walleye division. So it's still your one walleye. So like last year, once the leaderboard was set, then everybody, if by 10 o'clock Saturday morning, let's say the bottom of the leaderboard was 21 inches, whatever it was. Everybody knew that if they didn't have one 21 inches or better, that they didn't have to worry about going and weighing it in or measuring it or whatever. This year, there's 2 things. We still have 4 weigh stations, okay? But you're also going to have the option of the CPR and virtual entering to the Derby as well. So you can do it right from your boat. But now, if you're in multiple boards, which you just said you would have been in the charter board, the charter customer board. So let's say the bottom of the main leaderboard to get on it was 22 inches. And the charter customer board was like 19 to get on it. I'm just using numbers. So you still have your one fish entered. That's your fish. Okay. There is no team anything this year. We'll work on that for next year, and I want to do it, and there will be team events, not this year. Not this Derby, I should say. I don't want to say not this year, but not this Derby. Good question, Kevin. What bump board should we get if we are choosing to use the CPR? Very quickly, I will have links for multiple bump boards in place. I'm working that out right now with 2 separate companies. And I will have links for all those. I'm not telling anybody what to buy. In the future, we would like to be all CPR at some point. I'm not setting a time on that either. We're gonna do what works best for the anglers and for the Derby. This year we will have 4 measuring stations around the lake: Oneida Shores, South Shore, Boat Ramp, Godfrey Point, and I'm working on the wall at the canal at Sylvan Beach, all of which can be accessed by boat, which is why I'm doing that. We're working on supporting tackle shops, being a part of that. But my goal is to not have to kill any of these big fish for the Derby. What people do with the fish they've caught after they've caught it and weighed it in for us is up to them. And what the law of New York State says has nothing to do with me. But for the Derby, I want to do everything in our power that we protect our biggest fish in our lake, and that we have a resource that we can go and fish year after year that we're doing our absolute best as an organization and as a resident to protect, because that's my goal. So another great question. I will have bump board information coming very soon. Is the money from each division coming only from those entries? Yes, which is why you see the payout schedule at the bottom in green for all of the optional boards. Depends on how many people are in it, is depending how much they pay out, whether it be total number of spots or total value. I have no way of knowing. Nobody could enter any of these other boards, and everybody just fished the main board. I don't know. But yes, this year, the money for each of those boards is coming directly from entries in that board. There will be some extras. I just announced that rods, there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff. I just don't have it all in place yet. Did I read correctly that the board is cut top 25 down to top 10? The main leaderboard is going to go. We decided that we would like to give people more money as opposed to more people, less money. Like I said earlier, 100 from 16th to 25th place. So that was 10 places. They got $150 each. I don't know. If I was in 10th place, would I rather get, 1,000 or more, whatever it is, than coming in, 19th place and making $150? So yes, you did read that correctly. And also too, but we're increasing the total amount of people in total winners exponentially. I mean, we went down 15 places to because the payout stays the same, but it's going to be divided up amongst 10 places as opposed to 25. So think of what the top of that's going to look like. Going off last year's numbers, that would have been, I think last year's first place was $3,600 ish, and it would be well over 5,000 this year. Is there a date for a start of ticket sales? We're working on April 1st. I've been assured by my web designers that April 1st, we will be ready to start selling tickets. We're working behind the scenes diligently. I have a team of people working on this as we speak. Bill Morey, love that idea. We haven't got to that yet, Aaron. Aaron asked how we're doing the 5 fish limit. Dan Kindrew. Dan, I'm gonna refer you. It's $25 to enter. Anything you do past that is up to you. But to get into the main leaderboard in the WalleyeFest Derby, it's $25, just like it was last year. So now, while we've got caught up on the one walleye division, let's keep going, okay? Because let's keep going. Now we get into I need a sip of water. Now we get into the multiple walleye division, okay? These next two boards, they're the only ones in the multi fish, and these boards are CPR only, catch, photograph, and release. And before we get into all the questions on how we're going to do that, it is through an app on your phone where you simply, and you've seen my pictures already that I've been doing on the boat before walleye season closed. It's left hand on the belly of the fish, holding it. It's laying this way, its nose up against the bump board. You take the picture, it shows the fish in its entirety touching the bump board and where its tail lands on the bump board. These two boards, because of, well, a number of reasons, these are CPR only. You can only do this if either you or the boat you're fishing in have, either you have or you have access to a board, because that's the only way you'll be able to do this. So the number 7 leaderboard is the best 5. Okay. Now this is going to be your best 5 for the whole derby. And yes, one of the questions earlier is, do we have to keep track of the cull, or does it automatically? The computer does it, for lack of a better term. The app, the website, whatever we want to call it, where you enter your fish only keeps, because it knows that you're in that division, it only keeps your best 5. So every time you would enter another one, boom, and let's say you enter in the best 5 and the next board, which is most keepers. Okay. And that to me is the most interesting. And I have a couple friends of mine that I thought about specifically when I created this board, this leaderboard, because part of it was they're very competitive, and they were keeping track. A couple of years ago, they kept track of every fish they caught. As a comparison, something that I will tell you is that WalleyeFest will continue past the Derby weekend. I don't have all that figured out yet. I'm just going to tease you with it, but it is going to continue. It is going to be year round. We are going to have some sort of an Angler of the Year type prize. And this most keepers is very interesting to me, because it has nothing to do with keeping fish. It's just keeper size fish. And it's similar to the MLF format that they're using in the MLF bass fishing world. And I've liked that a long time, but I like that most keepers, and that might be changed, or we might have some kind of trophy or crown, maybe king or queen. Nothing saying a woman couldn't do it too. Absolutely nothing saying. We have some incredible lady anglers in the greater Oneida Lake region that are going to be in this derby. Like that women's division is going to be interesting. So the most keepers is, again, I think that's going to be the most fascinating one that I'm really going to watch, because so think about the best 5 walleye. So now you've got 2 days to catch your best 5. So what do you think it's going to take to win the best 5? Now remember, everything is length. So a 20-inch average? God, I mean, I would think to go and catch 20-inch fish in 2 days, I think 100 inches would be right out of the gate, would be the betting line, over under. Do you think it's going to take, do you think the best 5 walleye, it's going to take 100 inches more or less to win that? That's going to be interesting. All right, let's go back to the comments and let's talk a little bit about these next 2 boards that we just talked about, 7 and 8. All right, let's see here. I answered how much it is in the ender. I missed it. I was late. Dan, don't worry. You're always welcome. How do you keep track of the most keeper division? Is that CPR only? Yes, it is. Good timing. This is where I wish you could count those in your boat into those divisions, because I'll have 3 other guys in my boat. Okay, great, Aaron. That's fine. Then all 3 of you are going to be competing individually. We will have team stuff, whether it be, and I almost put in team, meaning 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you could have checked which one you wanted. I just couldn't get it worked out for this year for this derby. So it's coming. But you got 3 guys in the boat, everybody's into them, then everybody can be, it takes, once you get the hang of it and you follow the way it's done, and I'll have videos posted about that, it only takes seconds to register a fish. Boom, done. So, all right. So this is where, specifically for the top 5. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I don't see an issue with multiple guys fishing in the boat, and all being in that 7 or 8 leaderboard, or both of them. Kevin Stone, if you win a division, are you going to ask to inspect the bump board for accuracy? It's doubtful most will buy new bump boards unless required in a division. That certainly, that will be one of the checks. No question. Like I say, any of the winners, we will have all of this in our fine print. Everybody will sign off on it. And everyone will know that if you are winning a prize, then you need to be there on Sunday for the award ceremony. And if necessary, you need to provide your proper documentation to prove that you're a military first responder, to prove that you have a kayak, to prove that whatever. So there are things like that. So yes, we will be checking bump boards. Absolutely. Hugh Janus. That's funny. That makes me laugh. I don't know if that was a spam or a robot, but if it was, they were funny. All right. Now let's go to the non-walleye division. And anybody that knows me and has talked to me about this, there was 5 non-walleye division species originally, and I cut it down to 2. And the 2 are yellow perch and panfish. And a panfish is a crappie, bluegill, or pumpkin seed / sunfish. It's any of those 3. Not individual for each one. Any of those 3 qualify as a panfish. Only those 3. So I originally wanted to add pickerel, catfish, and most importantly, near and dear to my heart, sheep's head. But then I immediately worried that most people will buy bump boards that are walleye size bump boards, which usually go to 32 inches. Sheep's head could, and so could a decent pickerel. They could both be longer than that. And then I'm like, well, then what do we do? We got divisions that we can't, most people couldn't weigh in, and it was so we're not. I narrowed it down to just the two divisions. So yellow perch and panfish. And like I said earlier, I have got 2 beautiful 6'6" JT rods, 7-foot or 6'6" ultralight panhandler panfish rods, perch and panfish. And I am going to give the winner of both of those boards, number 9 and number 10, is going to get a new one, a brand new one. They're gorgeous rods, and man, are they fun to fish. Dan Clerkin, do you have to release all walleye in the CPR multi-fish, or can you keep any against daily limit? What and how you do that, Dan, is up to you, and you have to check with your local law enforcement to see how to do that. I cannot advise against how you do that. I'm not requiring anybody to do anything with their fish after they've entered them. I'm not requiring you to keep them or to release them. That's up to you. They're your fish. Once you've done what you need to do for us, what and how you take care of the rest of them is up to you. That's the best I can say that. The boundaries are the same as they were last year, still posted on the website. It's Adam, sorry. All my notifications are off. So let's see. What, no bass? I was unclear and I didn't get a definitive answer on the legality of doing bass during a time when it is a closed season, even though I'm not requiring anybody to kill them. If I find at some point now that that's different, then yes, we will add bass. Absolutely. And like I said, with WalleyeFest becoming, once the Derby weekend is over, it will be going year round. If we can do bass like we do anything else once the season opens. So starting in June, there would be bass boards on the website to get into as well. So yes, we will do bass as soon as we can do bass. I'm holding my mouse, trying to control the screen right here. Oh, that's funny. No, we do not, Eric. That's the point of this. We do not have to keep those fish and kill them to go to the award ceremony. And nobody wanted to see a dead fish that had been laying in the cooler for 2 days either. So no, we do not. We do not. Everything will be done, and people's words are their word. And I'll tell you, with the modern age of these municipalities and these judges handing down pretty stiff sentences to people that cheat in these kind of things, especially as we start getting we're going to talk about a lot of money this year, and I wouldn't want to be somebody that gets caught cheating or fails a lie detector test. That's for sure. Now, let's get to our last group of 3, and that is the youth division. Okay. Now, again, the youth division is such that is for anyone that doesn't need a fishing license yet. So in the fishing world, it's 15 years or younger. All right. 15 years or younger, and you have the option to get into the youth division. Now, you can be under 16 and still fish in the main leaderboard. There will be a spot, just like there was last year, where a parent or guardian has to sign the youth up, and everything will be right there in the website for you to do, just like you did last year. Last year we had 136 kids sign up, and 100% of the money collected in ticket sales goes directly into the merchandise we buy for prizes. Last year it was, I think $600, and then we pitched in another $600, and we bought more. If anybody was at the awards ceremony last year, whether you had a kid that won or whether you watched these kids that won leave the stage, we had them so loaded down with fishing gear, and all nice fishing gear. Like, we weren't giving them junky stuff. These kids were set with a lot of great stuff. And this year's going to be no different. The only difference this year is, for the youth, we gave them their own 3 boards. So they have walleye, yellow perch, and panfish. Okay. I wholeheartedly encourage everybody, if you know a kid get them involved. If we know any kids groups that want to come out, and there is so much shore access, quite honestly, and especially that's why I opened it up the kids, the youth division for yellow perch and sunfish, because in panfish, because you could take them anywhere on the lake shore and they got a chance to catch those. Okay. And so it's $5 for each of those boards for the kids to get into. And I really, that's a number that I really want to see go up and up and up and up and up, is how many kids can we get involved? And it doesn't have to be at a high level to get them started. You can take them to the wall in Sylvan Beach. You can take them to Riverside Park in Brewerton. You can take them to the fishing pier at Chapman Park. You know, you can take them over on at Godfrey Point off the outer dock there. So, you know, there's a lot of places that you can go and get a kid involved in fishing, and this is our chance to do that as an organizational level and really have them have fun doing it as well. So, super excited about that. Super excited about that. I'm excited about all of this. This has been a lot of work to get all of these just right and to obsessively think through each of them and all the what ifs and the can we do it like this and how do we do it, and it's been a labor of love, and I could not be prouder to show this to everybody right now. Maybe it's a certain length of time you're on, and then the spam finds you.
Yeah, you can click on the name and block it.
Yeah, the problem is like it's hard to do that here. Kevin Stone, how far up the river can you fish? I don't have the map open. Curious if the kids can fish from the pier in front of the waterfront. Yes, because the river's open all the way to the dam at Codnoy. So yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. Okay, does anybody have any more questions? I think we've covered everything. One thing I was asked, and I have been asked a couple times, last year it was to the 1/8 of an inch, because all of the old yardsticks that the Lions Club had from Grossman's were down to the 1/8 of an inch. When I started looking at bump boards a couple months ago, they're all to 1/4 of an inch. So we're switching our measuring to 1/4 of an inch. And there will be a full video on WalleyeFest.com shortly, showing exactly how the fish will be measured, whether you're doing it yourself with CPR or whether our staff is doing it at the predetermined measuring stations. Mouth closed, tail pinched, all that kind of stuff will be spelled out, but it will be to the 1/4 of an inch. And so that it'll round to the nearest 1/4, so up or down. I'm reading the rules. That's why I'm saying that, because that's different than it was last year. And I didn't want to make it different. I would have rather been to the 1/8 of an inch. But all the modern boards on the market right now only go to 1/4. So the payout schedule is on there. So max payout per leaderboard is 10 places. So the main leaderboard is guaranteed 10. Everything else optional. You would refer to the total number of participants and how many places it pays out. Yep. And then lastly, just like it's always been, each angler can only hold one place per board. So that's self-explanatory. So all of the single fish boards obviously are only just one fish, and that one fish stays with the person. So Matt Gutchess is ticket number whatever, and I've I've entered my fish, and my biggest fish is 25 inches. I'm in 3 single fish division leaderboards, and but it's the same fish in all of those boards. It's just my one fish because I'm entered in multiple boards. Okay. So, any other questions? So, okay, Scott just brought up a good point. Tiebreaker, and I'll have to add this. Tiebreaker is time of entry into the time of entry of the fish into the derby. We are not weighing or girthing these fish because that is where the cheating is most likely to occur. That is why we stay away from weighing these fish. We did it last year. This year we are not. The tiebreaker is the time it was entered. Okay. It is, and so keep that in mind. Sawyer is a big fan. Hi, Sawyer. All right. Okay. I think we've covered everything. Between some technical difficulties and some other stuff. Kevin Stone, you and your missus and your team are doing a hell of a job. Thank you. Listen, Kevin, thank you. That's a huge compliment, and I appreciate it. And we are doing our best because ultimately we're turning out the best derby that anyone's ever seen. And that's our goal, and that's what we're gonna keep doing. That's what we're gonna keep doing. And everything we do is gonna be trying to make it better. And everything we do is gonna be angler centric. You know, when everything starts coming into play, we have a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great vendors that want to get on board and put their products out there in dedicated fishermen's hands, like the people that are going to join our derby. One thing I've got to say though is I really truly need everybody's help out there. I need the help of the public. You know, I thought of this line the other day: like and share if you care. If you care anything about this derby and you want to see it get bigger and better, then like and share this video, anything you see with WalleyeFest on it. Let everybody know. That's the point. We had 1,400 participants last year. My goal is to double that. And I'd like to be into the 3,000s because we are creating something here that is unique to an Idle Lake. You know, and I was invited to a Soil and Water Council meeting 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about the Idle Lake watershed, and they'd asked me to come because I'm more on the tourism side of things, you know, and promotion, and the people that were in that meeting, the amazing group of people that were in that meeting, are protecting everything that we hold so dear on our lake in a 9-county radius around here. And the work they're doing is tireless and thankless. You know, funny, the only time people talk about soil and water is if there's something wrong or there's a problem. These amazing people were doing all this work behind the scenes, and there's going to come a time, I'm going to tell you right now, that they're going to need our help. And we're going to have to stand up, all of us, as stewards of an Idle Lake in this resource that we love. We have a gem. We have an absolute gem. It's New York's greatest lake. Idle Lake is New York's greatest lake. It is the largest inland lake in the state and in the East Coast, solely within the borders of one state. So we are very fortunate, and also too, it's good to know, and just me telling all of you, I hope that gives you a little peace of mind that people are out there watching what's going on. And we always need to be more vigilant, and we always need to be more assertive in the fact that we won't tolerate anything less than the Jewel that we've come to know. And it's been here, you know, forever, since Syracuse was an infant, and all of our heritage and family and lineage that have come up and fished this lake from when they came back from the war in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and found this Jewel still here, and they could still come out and go fishing for an afternoon and forget about what they had done, or you could still bring your family to its shores and beaches and swim in clear, unspoiled water and nature. And that's what we all collectively have to keep in mind and make sure that we're doing our part. You know, fishermen, we like to talk a lot, but boy, you go to a lot of fishing access sites and there's a lot of trash on the ground. So let's police ourselves and know that there's somebody out there policing what goes into our lake. All right. Matt needs to make Courtney a moderator so she can block these people.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that from now on the live.
All right. We will do that. I laugh at that, but I don't know anything about this stuff. And after last week, when some of these people or whoever they are made crude comments about one of our guests, next week we will have a moderator and we'll do the same. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. You can comment still in the video. I'll put it up here as soon as we hang up. Any questions? We're ready. We're ready. That it's T-minus 8 weeks, so let's do it. WalleyeFest, baby. WalleyeFest. Keep your tip up. Have a great evening. Go SU ladies tonight. I don't know if the game's still on. Keep your tip up.